Good afternoon and welcome to another Geek Jabber retro computing video. Once again, we're back on the 486 and I'm going to quickly go over something that technically still exists but seems to have fallen out of favour a little bit now. So most people are familiar now with things like social media and things like forums. They've been around on the internet for a while. What we're looking at here is the original version of that was going around the internet when it first started. So that would be Newsgroups, also known as Usenet, which I've managed to set up here. So we'll dive straight into it. So as you can tell here, I'm using Netscape because that has a Newsgroup client built in, at least in the version that I've installed. So I've come in, where do I go in? Here. Mail and News Preferences. I have set up down here this Newsgroup server. So I am using just a third-party Newsgroup server to set this all up. So you can set this up all in here. And I've added a couple of Newsgroups. So for those that don't know about Newsgroups, they've got a number of different discussions that come into different categories. So you've got things like news dot whatever for things like sort of news and discussion of current events, SCI for science-related subjects, a lot of different ones. I would demonstrate the complete hierarchy of newsgroups. When I tried to download them on this machine though, it utterly choked. I think the fact that it's only got 8 megabytes of RAM probably has something to do with it. So it just fills up RAM and absolutely crawls along. So I'm not going to tempt fate with that again. So I've just managed to add a couple that I think might just quickly show off what newsgroups were and to an extent still are. So the first one here, news.answers. So this is basically a discussion on basically where you can get information on the actual newsgroup system. So it looks like what they're doing here is they've got this guy sending out a regular email teaching people about the term netiquette, which is basically the rules that you're expected to follow when you're on various newsgroups. This one's in German. I don't speak German, so I'm not even going to try and translate that. But if somebody wants to pause the video here and translate it, go right ahead. But we'll move on. The next one I want to do is show something that has always been a big problem on Usenet. And there's my phone giving me a message. I'll just ignore that for the moment. So we've got this one here, alt.tv.simpsons. So as you can probably guess, that's to do with discussions on the TV show The Simpsons. And down here you can obviously tell that these discussions have got nothing to do with The Simpsons. So Nitro PDF Professional, download eBrick, Hader Full Movie. So it's obviously stuff that talks about software piracy and basically spam to do with software piracy. And of course, you should always show an element of caution when downloading pirated material, apart from the fact that it's not strictly legal. It's opening your machine up to all sorts of nasties, so we won't dwell on that any further. We'll go on to a couple of other groups that seem to be slightly better. So we've got sci.physics. So there still seems to be a little bit of spam in there. But we also seem to have a couple of actual discussions. So Carl Sagan, perhaps. So I'm guessing this is a discussion on Carl Sagan. So we'll load it up. So yeah, they seem to be just having a bit of a to and fro over something. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't know what the full context of this discussion is. I'm seeing this at the same time you are, but obviously somebody made the comment that the Earth is a mistake. So they're having a bit of a backwards and forwards over that. And I wouldn't call it a mistake, but a special situation. Matter can indeed form strange combinations. I promise you I can read and write. That did not come out well at all. So yeah, they're having a bit of a discussion there. And so we've got one more that we'll have another look at, sci.space. And they're having a discussion about how NASA wants a nuke reactor on the moon. So again, a slightly different discussion. So it's actually a legitimate discussion. The moon is totally locked with the Earth. That's why the full moon always looks the same. So yeah, so there are legitimate discussions here, and this one seems to have, at least from an initial look, very little spam, which is good. So yeah, you can have news groups that are somewhat moderated, which cut down on the amount of spam that goes through them. So yeah, we have got news groups at least slightly working on the 486. So the only thing I hadn't been able to demonstrate, as I said, was just getting an entire list of news groups, because that causes the machine to choke. But maybe that's for another day. So otherwise, news groups do appear to be functioning on the 486. They still seem to be active. And Google, I believe, is due to shut down their newsgroup service very soon, if they haven't done it already. I think it's due to happen sometime this year. But if you go through a third-party news service, you can still access them. You can even somewhat access them still on a machine as old as this. So it still slightly functions. But anyway, given the length of this video, I might just wrap this one up here. So if you want to support the channel, go down into the description. You'll see links there. If you want to see our website or join our Discord, again, links in the description. You know what to do with that subscribe button and those like and dislike buttons, and you know what to do with that comment section. I don't need to tell you. But thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.